thing that came in.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
Yes.
Papa's got a brand new remote.
Yeah.
Not a sofa baton.
Yes. So the sofa baton, wasn't too happy with it. I like the feel of this. I like the fact that they went really different. Like this is not your traditional styled remote. There's a little trackball here, which I'm still not sure how I like that. But as
trackball, that's like an old like BlackBerry type of trackball.
Yeah. So like,
oh, okay, I kind of like that.
So as I move the trackball, you can see it's going through the different screens here. Marantz, JVC, you know. But what's cool about it is each one of these buttons is programmable. So in the app, you can say, okay, I want that button to do this. You can do short presses, long presses. There's definitely a couple things that I'm trying to figure out, because when you first boot up the app, it's in Chinese. And you're like, I don't know what to click.
Come again?
Yeah. So I was like, so I just clicked it. I'm like, heck with it. Let's go for it. So I click it, and then it got into like this English menu. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess that worked. And so I started programming it, and it definitely, it wasn't super intuitive like the Harmony. I mean, the Harmony app is just like, okay, it's a no-brainer. Add devices, search for device. Okay, I found it. Add an activity. Okay, watch TV. What do you want it to do when you watch TV? Turn this on, change this to this input. This one isn't quite like that. So I'm still trying to figure out, how do you create those activities or macros or scenes or whatever.
And is everything just in Chinese?
No. I mean, everything's in English, but that first initial screen is like all Chinese. You're like, okay.
Oh, okay. Say somewhere English, like you see all these like weird writing, and then you see like English. You're like, yes.
Yeah. So
something I recognize.
Yeah. So it's definitely different. But well, here's like one thing that's kind of nice. It kind of squishes my picture though. You can see right here, that's my theater room. So you can add like your own. That's probably a better. So they give you some default stuff. So like living room and bedroom. So I just changed one. You can rename it. So it's called theater. There's one, it says 1F. So that's like first floor. And then they have GF for ground floor. So you can have like different areas of your house that you want to control. So
okay.
That might be kind of cool. But this is kind of the default, like what you're using. And so it's just kind of, I don't know. It's definitely not as intuitive.
Let me see.
As the Harmony. So if you use any of the stuff up there, like the user guides, it's videos in Chinese, and so that doesn't help, you know. But you can click on remote control, and then you can go to, so like there's the 4, you know, devices that I've added. The problem is they don't have the database that Logitech has, of course, you know. So when I searched for JVC NX5 or NX7, it had the NX5 and like 3 other projectors. But a lot of times they use the same, you know, IR commands.
Right.
So it was still able to turn it on and turn it off. The Shield was in there. My Pioneer, surprisingly, the Pioneer UDP LX500 4K player, that was in there.
Well, but Marantz hasn't changed their remote for.
But the Marantz wasn't. So I had the 88. It had the 8805. Didn't have any of this like 70s, like 7705, 7706. None of those were in there.
Are all their remotes pretty much the same? They changed that one button.
Like 8UK.
Well, you would think so. And so
doesn't work.
When I added it, you know, it has some default buttons right here that it programs, and so I clicked it and nothing happened. So I'm like,
wow.
So, but the good thing is it makes it really easy to reprogram that.
So
you can go into the app and say, hey, just learn, and then you take your remote, point it at it, and it just, you click it one time and it says, okay, I learned that command. So that actually is really easy to do.
So in case it's not in the database, you can still
correct.
Make it do what you want it to do.
Correct. Yeah,
that's cool.
So that actually. Now again, going back to Sofa Baton.
Yeah, it was a Sofa Baton. Like, how phenomenal was the Sofa Baton?
Like
Like,
garbage.
no,
I hate to say it, man.
You
It
have to
was
say
bad.
phenomenal way.
No, it was bad.
It was
phenomenally bad.
No, it was a disappointment. Honestly, I was hoping, I was rooting for it. It just didn't. It didn't check any boxes for me. But this one, like I said, it's got some potential. I mean, so far I haven't run into anything that's been like buggy and glitchy, other than in the app they have a like a little hub. So I connected the hub to it, and in the app you tell it you got to give it your Wi-Fi. So I gave it my SSID and my password, but it doesn't sync up with that. So I emailed them to say, hey, am I doing something wrong? Because there's really no instructions on that kind of stuff. So,
Yep.
Yeah, so I think it's got potential. So
Well, that's good. That's good, since Logitech's not making any new stuff.
How much does it cost, Mike?
what's that? 159, I think.
So then what's stopping anyone from buying this on screen?
What's the advantage of that versus this, I guess?
Don't know. I've never owned that one. Oh, what? My parents had that one.
The larger database for everything.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Now that's the thing. Logitech has pretty much everything in their database. I wish they would sell it. Yeah. I wish they'd sell it to somebody.
Because what did I use that didn't have it? Oh, the RCam. I had to use the RCam AVR 10 and not the AVR 11.
Okay.
But
yeah,
same.
Is the remote
same.
RF or IR?
Yeah. So James has a good question. It's actually both. It has infrared and it has radio frequency. Now, what I don't know though is, like, what would you use? So let me back up. With Harmony Elite, it's RF, but that's because it's communicating with the Harmony hub that is RF, and then once it sends the signal to there, then it sends through IR. Does that make sense? It like converts the signal. So if this is RF, are there AVRs that are RF?
No, that's going to be something like your cable box or DirecTV box or PlayStation.
Okay.
I believe PlayStation.
PlayStation would be Bluetooth.
Oh, Bluetooth. It's Bluetooth. My bad.
Yeah, so I'll have to see. I'll have to see. It did work with the NVIDIA Shield because that's Bluetooth as well. So
Bluetooth. Yeah. Does it have? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because you don't even have to point it at the device. You can just stick it under your armpit.
You don't have to do this.
Oh, Paul's got the question.
All right. So
the question is, will you get support on the old Logitech, and do we know the support on the new stuff? They can say whatever they want in the new manufacturer, but what's the real experience?
So something new comes out, right?
Don't know yet.
Yeah. And time will tell on that. I mean, Logitech says they're going to continue to support, as far as like it's still going to work and their database is still going to be accessible, but it's probably going to be a matter of time before they turn it off. But we just don't know.
Yeah. James asked, so does Harmony still work or just don't get new items? My Harmonies work.
Yeah.
The My Harmony app still works on my Intel-based MacBook Pro.
Yeah.
Doesn't work on the new M1s, but it still works. And that's what I use to change, like when I swap out from the Anthem to the Marantz or whatever, and I got to have all that stuff ready so that when my wife goes to watch something, I don't get a text or phone call in the middle of the night. Hey, the TV won't turn on. It's shit. Gotcha. Now what is it? And I'm this is tech support. This is Jonna speaking. How can I help you?
But the biggest thing is, I'm just trying to find one that's going to be a good alternative for those that are either looking to replace it, or when they do break, or maybe you're wanting to buy your first remote, but you don't want to spend an exorbitant amount of money because people are, buying them all up and selling them on eBay for just ridiculous prices, kind of like Oppo, so just trying to see if there's a good alternative out there. So one that you can program as a user. And so far, like I said, I mean,
the Savant one looks really cool, but
Savant, you can't program it, right?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah. See,
the Control 4 you can now, right?
Nope. Yeah. There's certain parts you can. You can't add new devices. So if you get a new AVR, if you get a new 4K player, you got to contact a custom integrator. They have to program it. They're going to charge you. So I'm one of those guys. I want full control. Yeah. You know, I want to be able to go on my app at any time, change the macro, add a new scene, you know, those types of things.
I mean, if you can do it, why would you have to call somebody? You can do it, right? It's not like you don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
It's just with those other systems, it's like, no, you're not smart enough to do this.
Yeah, they lock it down. Yeah. And I get it. That's their business model. But it's just not for me. So
nah.
Real quick, after every Monday podcast, we have an after show. If you're interested in joining us, go to patreon.com/Daily HiFi.